So my buddy KCal Gaming wanted me to review his Darlington Throwback for this year, and it's actually very, very good. This is a throwback to his NASCAR PlayStation Portable Let's Play that he hasn't done in a while, and this is actually the first game that he used. I definitely like it a lot, and because of the backstory and everything surrounding it, I will give it an 8.3 out of 10. And if that's not an indicator of what's to come with this year's Darlington Throwbacks, then I don't know what to tell you. It sure feels good by no looking back. You and I were on the attack, full speed ahead, running to the sunset. Such a different feeling, both of us believing we can make it better. Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Pushing on through until the battle's won. No one's gonna give nothing to us. Into each other we put our trust. Standing united after the fight. All alone we will never be. The two of us are holding the key. We see today a world we couldn't see. Before I say goodbye to you, one more last fist bump. Hey, what's up, Mooch Crew? It's Alan Muccio here, and welcome back to another Wildcard Wednesday. Holy cow, it's been a long time since I've done one of these. Okay, so this year, you know what time of year it is. It's coming up on Labor Day weekend, and the Southern 500 is coming up, which means it's time for that yearly review, where I review all the Darlington Throwback schemes that are being used. This year, we're going to do it a little differently. I have a scoring system. So if it's from anywhere from 0 to 3, your scheme is trash. If it's anywhere from 4 to 6, your scheme is good. If it's anywhere from 7 to 9, your scheme is great. And if it's 10, it is God. Your scheme is legendary. Alright, so with that out of the way, I'm going to send you guys to the scheme review. Alright, so now that we're over here, let's get started on what throwbacks we have this year. Let's start with the 00 car of Landon Castle, who's racing the Starcom Fiber Chevrolet Camaro Z014 Starcom Racing. Now, we have seen this scheme last year. This was used by Matt DiBenedetto and Go Fast Racing when they did their throwback with this exact same scheme to Bobby Allison. Now, I'm not going to get on this scheme too much because it's a different car make and everything, but we did see this last year, and that does make me want to dock points for it. I'm not going to dock too many points for this one, especially because of how nice the scheme looks. I'll give this one a 7.3 out of 10 and call it a day. Moving on to our next scheme, which is Jamie McMurray's #1 McDonald's car for Chip Ganassi Racing. Okay, so this is a throwback to Bill Elliott's 1998 car, which is very cool. This was when Bill Elliott ran the 50 years of NASCAR racing machine. It looked good. But this year, they brought it back just for 50 years of the Big Mac. Great! We're celebrating the 50 years of a sandwich. Yay! This scheme, all in all, isn't really bad, except for the 50 years of Big Mac on the hood, which you can faintly see here. But I'm not going to harp on it too much, because it is 50 years of... It's a gold paint scheme, and, well, gold is one of my favorite... It's gold. How do you go against a color like gold? Or is this copper? I don't know. I think it's gold, maybe. But anyway, this scheme gets I'll give it a 3... No, 3 is too low for this one. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Next scheme. Brad Keselowski, he's throwing it back to an old Rusty Wallace scheme, again with Miller Genuine Draft on the hood. And yeah, basically I'm noticing a trend here with the cars. This is actually a throwback to when black cars were very dominant in NASCAR. I mean, black cars were, you could not I mean, back in the 90s, you couldn't go one step on the raceway, you couldn't take one step out to the raceway, or you couldn't look around on the raceway and not see black cars, because they were pretty much everywhere. The 28 was a black car, the 3 was a black car, there was the Rusty Wallace had a black car as well. Basically, if the big guys, they drove black cars. Except for Jeff Gordon, who drove a rainbow car, but we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, Keselowski's scheme is very solid, very simple, and straight to the point. Also, it's a Rusty Wallace throwback, and Rusty Wallace is a NASCAR legend. I shall give this scheme a 7.3 out of 10. Kevin Harvick, he's throwing it back to a Busch beer can from Daytona Speed Weeks in 97, I believe? Yeah. They can actually see. Huh? Oh wow! They actually have I swear, if Busch Beer actually did this design specifically for Throwback Weekend, that would be glorious for them. This scheme is cool. I'm a sucker for cans sometimes. For can designs sometimes it's kind of bizarre, but this scheme is actually pretty good. I like it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Next scheme. Matt Kenseth and the number 6 Roush Fenway Racing Ford, being sponsored by Oscar Mayer. Is this a throwback? No. Is this a new scheme? Yes. But I think Oscar Mayer missed the concept here. Credit where credit is due, though. I will give him this, that there is a throwback to be made here, as we have not seen Oscar Mayer on a race car since 2005. At least I think it was 05. But it's been a long time. 13 years, goes by quick. Anyway, Kenseth's scheme, despite not being a throwback, is pretty decent. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Chase Elliott's Napa number 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports. Now, this scheme has a very special story behind it, because this was actually the scheme that his cousin raced back when Elliott was just still young, and then his brother passed away from cancer. That sucks, but, well, at least the legacy, this is still in the Elliott family. I definitely like this one. It's one of my personal favorites, especially with the story behind it and knowing that it's part of the Elliott family. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10 and move on. Hashtag I'm biased, I know. Denny Hamlin's number 10. No, that's Eric Almirola who has the number 10 car. Alan, you're stupid. Denny Hamlin's number 11 car. Now, this scheme is how you throw it back to yourself. Take notes, Jimmy Johnson, but we'll get to Jimmy Johnson when we get to Jimmy Johnson. Oh, look at that! Chesterfield trailing and hitch. Huh. The FedEx went all out with this one. They even have the 235, 23... Wow, there's 2351 cubic inches in there? Jesus Christ. That had to be pretty powerful. FedEx, I definitely like how you did this one. It's a very nice scheme. It's very solid. I give this one an 8.9 out of 10. Alright, Ryan Blaney's throwing it back to Dave Blaney's 2003 Darlington 2003 scheme. Yeah, you might remember this one because this car finished 3rd in 2003 to Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven. We'll get to Kurt Busch when we get to Kurt Busch. Anyway, Ryan Blaney has a very nice scheme here. It's neon yellow. Well, his dad's car was yellow, so it would make sense. Also, Menards is on the car, so it seems fitting. But everything else is down to that T perfect on this car. It's nice to see Ryan Blaney throw it back to his dad. And I gotta say, I love this scheme. I'm giving this one a 8.8 out of 10. Ty Dillon's number 13 Germain Racing with Geico. Ooh. I was actually very concerned about this scheme being the same scheme that we saw 2 years in a row. In 2016, we actually saw Casey Mears drive the Smokey Unit car, and I thought it was cool back then. I don't remember how I responded when Ty Dillon brought back the same scheme the next year, but it was okay. I actually quite enjoyed seeing it on track. This year, they are throwing it back to their first trip to Germain Racing's first entrance into the Cup Series with their classic red and blue car. Now, the drivers have changed, yes, but definitely the concept stays the same. This scheme is solid and is good to look at. I will give this one an 8 out of 10 and move on. Clinton Boyer's number 14 car. Now, this is a throwback to Ned Jarrett when Ned Jarrett pretty much trounced the field in Darlington. Remember that 14-lap race, that 14-lap margin of victory that nobody seems to talk about these days? Yeah, that was a pretty big beatdown. And cool! Tony Stewart, owner, is on the car. I don't know if they did that back in the day, but that is such a cool touch. Oh my gosh, they even have the Kannapolis, North Carolina there underneath the Carolina Ford Dealers logo. Oh, and that's retro right there. Oh my gosh, that is cool. Oh my gosh. Now, I am geeking out over here. That's normal. That is awesome. That's cool. I gotta give this one a solid 8.6 out of 10 just because of all the details. I would have harped on it for being blue and all, but holy crap, when the scheme is this good and you got that much attention to details, forget anything. Forget being simple. That's just cool. Oh, they even changed the font. Oh wow, that is awesome. Next scheme. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. throwing it back to John Deere, or as Black Flag Matters would call it, John Deere. Hashtag shots fired! Anyway, this scheme is very solid, very nice to look at. It's not all over the place like you'd expect, but this is a pretty cool scheme. Also, a side note, I believe this is a throwback to Chad Little when he drove the 97 before Kurt Busch took it over. If anyone can correct me on that one, leave it in the comments. This is a solid one to look at. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 and move on. Kyle Busch's car. Okay, out of the bag, off record. Okay, actually, no, more like this is on record now. I am not a fan of Kyle Busch. I will put that out there right now. Definitely am not a fan of Kyle Busch, but especially with his off-track shenanigans, shenanigans, as I call them, yeah, I have a reason not to like Kyle Busch. But I will not deny he is a talented driver. I will not deny that. He is a very talented driver, and this scheme is one of the best schemes that I've seen all throwbacks of the throwbacks here. Oh my god, it's just eye candy. Eye candy because Skittles is on the car. Skittles decided to throw it back to Swerve and Irvin. Yep. That's pretty much what they're throwing it back to their first outing in NASCAR with Ernie Irvin, and oh my god, it's just awesome to look at. This is how you do a throwback right. You don't bring back a scheme that you've brought back, that you've had the previous years, and just say, throwback! This is how you do it. You bring a scheme forth that we've never seen in a long time, and then you say, boom! Throwback! Surprise, suckers! Skittles, you done it right. Kyle Busch, you done it right. Congratulations, you guys get a 10 out of 10. It's God! It's legendary! Okay, I won't say the scheme is God, but it is legendary! Next scheme. Eric Jones throwing it back to his Spotters truck from the Craftsman Truck Series back in the day. Oh man, I miss Craftsman in NASCAR. Actually, they have made some recent outings in NASCAR too, which is pretty cool. Oh, they even have the Retro Sports Clips logo. That's cool. Oh, and the Moderns on the side. How cool is that? Sports Clips, I applaud you. You got both your old school and new school logos on the car. That's just like that's a time capsule. Holy crap. Definitely giving an applaud to this scheme. It even matches up to the Corelli truck that he raced. Oh my gosh, that is cool. I'm giving this scheme a 7.2 out of 10. Paul Menard throwing it back to Cale Yarborough. Oh, wow. Look at the detail here. 396 cubic inches. That is cool. Is that how much is on the car there? Oh, they even put Cale Yarborough's name over the 21. That is lit. That is amazing. Oh my goodness, Kale, man, Menard, you are awesome. This game is awesome, my dude. I'm gonna give this game a 6. Nah, 6 is too low for this one. I'm comfortable giving it an 8.3. Next game, Joey Logano. Ah, yes, Joey Logano throwing it back to Steve Park. When was the last time we saw this car on track? I think it's been too long. If this isn't legendary status with Joey Logano's schemes, aside from, how bland they are, trust me, if I did paint scheme reviews every week, I'd have the same complaint with Logano. It's the same scheme we see every single year since 2011. Move on! Get a new scheme! This scheme is awesome to look at. I'm going to give it a 9.2 out of 10. Remember how I said we were going to get to the rainbow car when we get to the rainbow car? Yep, you guys saw this coming. William Byron's 24 Exalta car, sponsored by, obviously Exalta, but still. Here's my complaints with this one. It's a very nice looking car. I'm not going to lie. It is awesome to look at. I'm not going to lie. However, we've seen this scheme before. 3 years ago. If they did not bring it back for Jeff Gordon's retirement season and ran it at Bristol, I would be like, wow, this scheme is awesome. 10 out of 10, legendary. Okay, well, I'm not going to lie. It is an iconic scheme and it is legendary. It's kind of lost its charm with me because when you see it 3 years ago, you don't expect to see it again for quite a long time. And then when they bring it back 3 years, just like that for Darlington, and be like, oh, we're throwing it back to Jeff Gordon's first race, Jeff Gordon's first paint scheme in 1992, and you're just like, this is getting old. Hendrick Motorsports, please hear me out. Next year, bring the T-Rex car from 1998 All-Star Race. Bring back the T-Rex. Yeah, please, do us a solid and bring a scheme that we haven't seen a while back. Like Jeff Gordon's Orange and Blue Flames. We haven't seen those since 2008. It's been 10 years. We haven't seen Jeff Gordon's 2004 Pepsi car in a while. How about throw it back to his 2007 Pepsi car from Talladega when he won his 80th race? Oh my god, missed opportunities here. My goodness. Seriously, but in all seriousness, I can't harp on Byron's car too much because I freaking love the rainbow car. But I am going to dock at some points because we did see it before. I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Ryan Newman's throwing it back to Neil Bonnet this year, and oh my gosh, it's back in black, baby. You know what? A lot of people, if this was Austin Dillon's car, and he brought back the Dale Earnhardt Sr. scheme, there would be a ton of backlash from the old fans. Trust me, there'd be a ton of backlash. But Ryan Newman is honoring a NASCAR legend with this scheme. And my gosh, does it look classy. It's all dressed up, back in black, and looking cool. It almost reminds me of the Batmobile to a sense. All you need to do is just put the Batman logo on the hood and the sides, and you can be like, I'm Batman. Just saying. Anyway, Newman's scheme is solid, simple, and cuts to the point. Not to mention because it's a Neil Bonnet throwback, and God knows I wish Neil Bonnet was around today. I'd love to hear stories from him about NASCAR from way back in the day. I'm going to give this scheme an 8.6 out of 10. Matt DiBenedetto, way to go with this one. This car is a throwback to Jeff Burton's old Exide Batteries car with Roush Fenway Racing, or as it was known at the time, Roush Racing. And my goodness, is it cool. You got the lightning bolt, you got the bright purple transitioning to dark purple to blue, and you even got the purple outlining. Oh, man, Go Fast Racing, you guys went all out with this one. Ha! They even did the that's crafty. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I like this one a lot. 8.9 out of 10 for Matt DiBenedetto. I give you guys props this year. Please do me a favor and bring back a Jeff Burton singular car scheme or something like that. I don't know. If you like Jeff Burton a lot, you know that he ran the singular car the singular 18T car for Richard Childress Racing from 2005, I believe, to 2008, and then they had to get sponsorship from Caterpillar starting in 2009, and then Caterpillar's been with Richard Childress Racing from that point forward. Moving on. Okay. Front Row Motorsports loves travel stops. We need to talk. And I mean big time need to talk. This scheme is no longer cool to look at. It's no longer cool. It's lost its cool factor here. I'm not saying it's cool to look at. It is cool to look at, but it's lost its throwback charm. You guys brought this out. You guys debuted this car in 2016 with Chris Buescher behind the wheel, and I thought it was cool. I liked it. Then you guys brought it back in 2017. Landon Castle was driving that car, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with this. You guys bring it back a third year in a row with a different driver, and I'm just like, I'm spent on this one. I'm just tired of seeing this car. Here's the thing about this. Much like my worries with the Ty Dillon car being the Smoky Unit car again for the third year in a row, it no longer has that throwback effect. When you bring back the same car for the same race every year, it kind of loses that throwback and just becomes a casual Darlington scheme that's dressed up, and you can just pass as a throwback. You can say, oh, it's a throwback to Love Travel Stops canopies. Yeah, I get it, but it's not fun. It's no longer fun to look at. Bring K-Love on board. Get us something. Do something like have K-Love and Skillet on the car, like one of their older albums, like Comatose, or you could actually maybe do, I don't know. You could have K-Love on the car and throw it back to Michael McDowell's first car, or maybe have Michael McDowell's late model car, or whatever his background was in racing before he came to NASCAR. Do something like that. Stop bringing the canopy car because I'm getting sick of it. This car gets a 1.5 out of 10 and is my least favorite throwback of the year. Moving on. Chris Buescher. Remember how I said Love's Travel Stop was my least favorite car? This car gets my rights for the second least favorite car. And that's not a good thing. This car is throwing it back to the Bush's baked beans that have been made for 110 years, apparently. Guess what? I'm not a fan of beans, so I already hate this scheme. Not to mention, why is the Bush's can on the side near the contingency stickers? Why? Put it on the roof of the car where I don't have to see it unless it's on aerial coverage. Why do you have to torture me by flashing this can of beans on the side of the car? I give this game a 1.2 out of 10. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 1.2 is still a little too harsh. And not to mention that would take away from Love's Travel Stop being my least favorite. 1.4 out of 10. David Reagan, fresh paint! Sit Guard 700 is the sponsor of this car, and it's throwing back to Dale Jarrett's first win in 1991, and oh my gosh, is this cool to look at. Yes, this scheme is how you do a throwback right. Take notes, Love's Travel Stops. This scheme is amazing in every sense of the word. Oh my goodness. I don't care if this scheme this scheme probably won't show up on TVs a lot, but hell, this scheme is so cool it needs to be looked at. I definitely like this scheme. I approve of it. I think it's good. I'm giving this one a 7.8 out of 10. Kurt Busch. Your car is God. Your car is legendary. I shouldn't say God, but it is legendary. This scheme is throwing it back to 2003. Remember how Ryan Blaney is throwing it back to 2003 with his dad, Dave Blaney? Well, Kurt Busch is throwing back to himself. Just replace that Haas logo with a Sharpie. Take Haas CNC off here, and you put Rubbermaid there, and you take off that Monster decal there. Well, that's probably gonna stay there because Kurt Busch is backed by Monster anyway. But anyway, you take off the Haas here, you put Sharpie here or Rubbermaid here, and oh my gosh, you got a 10 out of 10 replica of Kurt Busch's 2003 car. An exact 1-for-1 match of this car. And my God, this car is just amazing to look at. Okay, much like Kyle Busch's car, I'm a sucker for this one because Sharpie is actually one of my favorite brands of markers. And because I have such a bias towards it, and because of how cool this car looks, Kurt Busch, your car gets a 10 out of 10 legendary status. Rejoice. Moving on, Kyle Larson throwing it back to Davey Allison's 1992 scheme, I believe. Maybe it's his rookie scheme. That's hard to tell. But anyway, good lord. Good lord. Where do I begin? Well, the colors are slightly off, except for maybe the silver. The car number is, I believe, gold was gold on Allison's car, but I don't remember. DC Solar missed opportunity. You could have put your DC Solar logo over the actual name of the company, much like the Havilland car, as you can see in the back here. And then you got everything else, I believe, is not the same. I don't think the numbers are the same. Mostly the same. High up there. I definitely like this one. I hope Lionel makes a diecast car of this, and launches it out to the public. Then I'll just buy it and be like, we got a Kyle Larson Camaro now! Yay! And then, well, with that out of the way, and because I'm such a fan of Kyle Larson, I gotta give this one I'm comfortable with giving this one an 8.8 out of 10. A classic look for Darrell Wallace Jr. with throwing it back to the first ever STP car. Here's my problem. It's blue. Is it blue? It is fucking blue. It's blue, obviously. Yes, there's no color. I was actually hoping to see Richard Petty's final car from 1992. That was actually what I was hoping for. You know what else would have been awesome? Maybe a throw it back to the 25 years car where Richard Petty has actually had partnership with STP for all those years, you know? Throw it back to Bobby Hamilton's 93 car but this car is, it's not bad, but it's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's my third least favorite. I'll give it a 2 out of 10. Just because of how blue and how meh it is. Moving on. AJ Allmendinger's number 47 car. Okay, if there's one thing everyone needs to know about me, I am a sucker for red, white, and blue cars. And what colors are these? Red, white, and blue. This is actually a throwback to the first ever outing JGT Doherty did in what was then known as the NASCAR Busch Series. God, I missed the Busch Series. That logo was so cool. Anyway, this scheme is amazing to look at. It's awesome. I love this scheme, actually. And because of how much I like it, I'm going to give it a 9.3 out of 10. Jimmy Johnson. Hello, Jimmy Johnson. I've been meaning to pick your scheme apart. This scheme is a letdown for me and just about every other NASCAR fan out there because Lowe's is doing their final ride, and what do they decide to do? Well, we're going to bring back a scheme from 6 years ago. Great. In fact, I actually believe we've seen this scheme in 2013. Seeing a scheme from 5 to 6 years ago, not a throwback. If you want a Darlington throwback and you want to do it right, what you want to do is you want to make it from 10, 11, 12, 20, 30, 40, heck, even 70 years in the past. Go back in time. Go find a point where Lowe's was, well, beginning and coming up through the ranks, or throw it back to Jimmy Johnson's rookie scheme, which I hope they do in Homestead, actually, as a good huzzah to Jimmy Johnson. Or, you know, maybe they could like have a mosaic car, or they should have done a picture, or they could have done this even cooler, like they could have had like moments of Jimmy Johnson with Lowe's and Victory Lane, all those championships, the 7 titles as a nod to being the 7-time champion. But no, we're going to go with a black car with white numbers, and you're going to deal with it for this race. Okay. Johnson, your scheme's not my least favorite, but it's definitely not my favorite at all. I'll give it a 2.4 out of 10. Corey LaJoy. Not sure what you're throwing it back to, but it looks weak. I'll give it a 1.3 out of 10 and move on. Casey Kane, another legendary throwback. This one's a throwback to his 2006 scheme when he won 6 races that year. I believe 4 of them came with this very scheme. Now, okay, so obviously some things I gotta point out. Yes, the number is black and red. That's pretty cool. I like that. Definitely like how the spikes on the 9 actually like break off the 5. That's some beautiful detail, and we saw that before with this All-Star scheme, which I thought was legendary, and I wouldn't have minded if they brought that back. But Levine Family Racing, Dumont Jets, I love how you're treating Casey Kane this year, even though he's retiring, and how I'm gonna miss Casey Kane. I love this scheme a lot. I have to give this scheme a very high 10 out of 10. So 3 schemes have gotten legendary. Any more schemes I need to review? Oh yes, Jeffrey Earnhardt throwing it back to his grandfather, Dale Sr. with this I believe his 9lineapparel.com card. That's what I have it marked as, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, Jeffrey Earnhardt, your scheme is very cool. I definitely like the touches to it. Is that? Oh my gosh, this card is cool. What is this? What does that sound like? Coffee or die? Okay. Let's look at let's see something here on the B post. Oh, there's all the cool logos there. Okay. This scheme is not bad. I actually like it. It's not a Toyota, but I'm not going to give it too much flack. I mean, I really don't give flack to any schemes for what car they're on. I just give them flack for what they, meh, whatever. Moving on. Is he actually like, did they actually put Dale Sr.'s name on the car? That'd be cool if they did. I guess the IAV stands for 4th Generation Racer. And then you got, they did put Dale Sr.'s name on the other side of the car. Oh, wow. Okay, beauty in the details there. I caught you, Jeep Gaunt Brothers Racing. I caught you. Beauty in the details there. I'm going to give this one a 9.3 out of 10. Move on. And finally, Derek Cope. It's Derek Cope. What do I need to say? 2.3 out of 10. No, just kidding, actually. This car is throwing it back to his 1998 days, I believe? Because that's his old Bojangles car in the back, but why are you throwing it back to yourself? You know you're old when you're throwing it back to yourself. Also, get someone else behind the wheel of the car, man. You're old. You shouldn't even be on the raceway. God. Anyway, with those rants aside, I'm not going to give the driver too much flack. I mean, we're going to give this scheme, at least I am going to give this scheme I'll give it a 7.2 out of 10. Move on. Yes, the Xfinity Series, because I can't go one step without thinking about the Xfinity Series. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching so much. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And once again, go subscribe to my friend KCow Gaming and go watch his Darlington race on Sunday. Link to his channel in the description down below. Also, follow me on social media. All my handles are in the description down below. Subscribe to all my other friends. Links to their channels in the description down below. And don't forget to join my Discord server and check me out on Twitch. Links to those in the description down below as well. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to keep on dancing. Move your feet to the beat. And remember, until we get down the pipeline, I'm Alan. I'm out of here. I'll catch you all on the flip side. Here comes the outro. Break it down now.